Hi everyone, so this is Mama of a Redhead. I'm finally getting to do my ear stretching video. Now this is like the fourth time I've recorded it. I just keep forgetting things. So I have a list of notes down here, so hopefully I don't forget anything. So the first thing that we're going to start with is some terms, and then we'll get into some other stuff. The first thing is a lot of people call it gauging. Gauging is actually a unit, like a gauge is actually a unit of measurement. The act of actually making your ears or a piercing larger is stretching, because you're stretching it out, not gauging. Gauging is a size. So I will show you my ears. So these are my ears. This little one up here is actually stretched up to a 16 gauge, and my big ones are a 00. So we'll get to sizes in a minute, but I thought I'd give you a reference. This one in here that I have, that you can't really see very well, oh there it is, that's a 14, and that's generally what standard piercings are, unless you're pierced with a gun at like Claire's or whatever. Those are generally a 20 or 22 gauge, which is really little itty bitty bitty. So let's start with some terms. So I'm going to start with materials. So what I have in my ear is stainless steel, and for a better view, that stainless steel or metal. They use titanium, they use a whole wide variety of metals, but the general one is stainless steel. There is silicone, which is like this. It's like I just started yesterday. It's generally a squishier type material, and it can fold up and pops out and stuff. So those are really comfy to sleep in. So there's stone. I chose this one so you could see it better. There's all different kinds of stone. I don't remember what this one is, but I have a whole bunch of different stones. This is acrylic, so it's just plastic. And the two that I don't have are wood, which is obviously wood. And there's also horn and bone, which comes from animals' horns and bones. So if you're vegan or vegetarian or against all that, I wouldn't suggest it. But it is generally cruelty-free. It's usually from animals that have lived many, many years ago. Or, they're not killed for their parts to make earrings. Like, no. So that's the materials. There's probably, some out there that I might be forgetting, but those are the basic ones that you're going to find pretty much everywhere. So some other terms are how the actual earring is. So, for instance, this is an acrylic double flare. See, there's two flares. And these you pop into your ears. This is an acrylic no flare. There are O-rings, this is another term. This is an O-ring. So there's no flare at all. And the O-rings keep the earring in your ear. And the other one is single flare, which is, I'll show you here, which is this. So the O-ring goes here, and there's only one flare to keep it in. Just to show you, this is also a single flare, but this screws off. But there's still only one flare, because this part comes off. So there's a couple more things. So this is called a taper. This is what you actually use to make your piercing bigger. This is a 0 taper, just for ease of being able to see it. This, where you can see through it, is a tunnel. Wow, my brain is gone. This might not go up again. And this is a plug, where you can't see through it. And just for reference sake, these are size 14 tapers. These are itty bitty. This is generally where you want to start from your standard piercing. So if you are getting pierced just to stretch, you can go to your local tattoo place or piercing place, not Claire's. And why is my nose running like crazy all of a sudden? I have no idea. And they can, pierce you at a larger gauge so that you're starting off at a larger gauge. The only downside is if you decide to go back and, just have a regular piercing, you're stuck at whatever gauge you choose at the piercing place. I think they can go up to an 8, as high as an 8, and I'll show you an 8. So that's an 8. Fairly big compared to the 14s. So there's the difference. And then you have to wait at least, I'd say, 6 months before you start stretching. I know it's a long time when you're doing it just to stretch, but you need to let your ear heal. That's the key with all stretching and piercings and everything. You need to let it heal. I will do an aftercare video maybe in 2 or 3 weeks from now, which will show you aftercare on piercings and stuff. Okay, so when you're stretching, you want to take a taper, which is not jewelry. You never want to wear these as jewelry ever. It weighs down your ear funny, so you end up with a wonky piercing, and then it just doesn't work very well. Your earrings won't go in properly. And you also risk a blowout, which is where the inside of your ear ends up on the outside of your ear. And once you get that, it's very hard. From what I hear, it's very hard to get it back to normal. I haven't had that issue, thankfully, but it is, something you need to be aware of, that could happen. So what you want to do is you take your taper, and you want to put lots of lube on it. And I hate to say that word, but it's true. This is what I used. It's a hold fast ear stretching balm. And it just comes in a little container like this. And there it is. It's just a little, it wasn't that pricey. But that's what I used. And you also want to always use stainless steel tapers and plugs or tunnels when you're stretching, so that your ear doesn't adhere to the material, because your ear can adhere to the plastics or the silicones. I'll get to the silicone in a minute. So you want to lube it up and put it in your ear and just go ever so slowly through. Like, this one fits right through my ear because, I'm not at this size, I'm a size higher. And what I always did was I would let it sit for maybe 10 to 20 minutes just to let my ear get used to it. Then I would slide it out, lube it up again, and put it in so that this point comes through the back. And then I would slide my tunnel on and then just slide that through my ear. And then it would be it. Oops, I just lost that under the microwave. And I would do that because what you're supposed to do... Hold that thought. Yes, I'm recording on my microwave. Is you're supposed to, once this is in your ear, you're supposed to line it up and then just slowly push it through. I could never get it lined up properly, and it hurt a lot because it usually was off by a little bit. So one day I just went, well, what if I try this? And because it lines up perfectly to where it needs to be, it worked. So I did that up until a size 2. Once I hit a size 2, I was going to stay there for a while. That was my original goal size. But once I got there, I wasn't very happy with it. I was getting happy, but I wasn't. So from there, I started taping. This is just the PTFE tape, or the plumber's tape, and it only sticks to itself, so it won't stick to your ear. And I would do 3 wraps around at one time, which worked for me. Some people need to do 1 wrap and then do it, and then put it in, and then, you know, a couple days later or a week later, another wrap. I would do 3 at a time. And that worked for me, and I did it every 3 to 4 days, and it worked, and it was painless, and it was easy. I did need to still use, at that point, I didn't use this lube. I used my jojoba oil, and that helped a lot, because this was just a little too thick for what I was trying to do, and this worked perfectly. So I taped up to a 0. I wasn't happy there. I was going to spend the summer at a 0, but I hated it. 0 is a very awkward stage to be in, and I hated it. So I, you know, stayed there for about 2 months and then moved up to a 00, and now I'm very happy. I unfortunately can't get the double flares in my ears yet, because this ear is thicker than this ear, because when I was young I had my ears pierced many times, so there's a lot of scar tissue that I'm working on to get rid of. Yeah, because I didn't know, I never got an infection or anything. I just, you know, they said after 6 weeks you can take the earrings out, but they never told me that I would leave them out for a day just to let them breathe, and then the hole would be gone. And that's the same with most of my piercings, is that once I take the earring out, they're gone within a little while. So I had them pierced multiple times, and so there's a lot of scar tissue in there that I'm working on. This one is okay. I could probably do it, but then I'd, you know, have different, and I don't want that. But you are going to have, everybody has one good ear, one bad ear. So this one's my good ear, this one's my bad ear. The bad ear generally hurts a little bit more. By hurt, I mean, you know, it's a bit tighter, and, you know, there's pressure. It's not supposed to be real pain, but there's pressure because you're stretching. If you see blood, stop. Just stop. And don't try it yet. You need to, between stretches, you need to wait 4 to 6 weeks, if not more. Some people will say, you know, 3 months. Some people will say 6 months. I think a month, 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks is good. That's generally what I did, except for my one silly mistake. After 14, I left 14 in for about 3 weeks, and then I went up to a 12 gauge. And because that was like so easy, it didn't, you know, it was so easy. You just went in. There was no pressure. There was nothing. Within a couple days later, I was like, okay, let's do this. And I went up to a 10. And the 10 hurt because I didn't give the 12 time to heal, which was not good. So that was my, you know, learning moment, which everybody's going to have. There are a lot of videos online about how to stretch up with silicone, which are these, and that's not good. So what people do is they fold it up. Work fingers. They fold it up, put it in their ear, and let it expand. And that causes a lot of pressure, and that tears your ear, and that's generally when you're going to see blood. And then at that point, you know, you're likely going to adhere your ear to the silicone because there's a lot of pressure there. Your ear's not used to it. And the silicone is porous, so your skin's going to grow into it. And that's not what you want either. So let's see. So we talked about taping, blah, 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 blah. So the other thing is jojoba oil is going to be used all throughout the rest of your life, with your stretched ears. You can also use vitamin E, but it is not recommended unless your piercing is healed. I haven't tried vitamin E yet, because I'm still working through this. but I'm having a heck of a time trying to find this anywhere other than online in my little town. So I might be going to Vitamin E. But it just keeps, you know, your skin lubricated and healthy, and you massage it in, and it just keeps, you know, the blood flow if you're a larger size in your ear. The other thing that I need to talk about is washing your ears. You need to wash your ears, like the actual hole, or they start to smell and itch. Yes, it's with all piercings, it's the same thing. You need to wash them because, you know, sweat and, you know, whatever else, shampoo, all this gunk gets in there and then it starts to smell. All piercings do it, not just stretched ears. It's just more prevalent in stretched ears because there's more space for stuff to get trapped. So you want to wash your ears every day, you know, if not more, and then do a massage with the jojoba oil. So yeah, that's about it. I think. I will do an aftercare video, which will, you know, be for all piercings, and after you've stretched for the after you've stretched, you need to treat it like a new piercing, so you need to do aftercare. And I think that's it. So I hope you have a great day. I hope I didn't miss anything. If you have any questions, comment below. I will try to answer them. Or I will answer them. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.